They'll tell you it's the best budget deal on the market, but they won't tell you everything. Before you buy the 2026 Dacia Sandero, there are some truths you really need to hear. Welcome back to Supercar. Today we're exposing 7 things your salesman will never mention. The hidden downsides, the real compromises, and what it actually feels like to live with this budget favorite. If you want honest reviews that could save you money, hit subscribe, because this is the stuff no one tells you until it's too late. Think you're getting top-tier safety for a bargain? Think again. When you sit in the showroom, the salesman will eagerly highlight the multiple airbags, the reinforced chassis, and the standard anti-lock brakes. What they will conveniently skip over is the nuanced reality of its Euro NCAP safety rating. The 2026 Sandero, much like its predecessors, does not score the full 5 stars. However, the hidden truth is that it is not a structural death trap. The lower score is heavily penalized by the lack of advanced active safety tech. Things like sophisticated lane-keeping assist, rear cross-traffic alert, or advanced pedestrian detection systems that are standard on pricier rivals are either optional or entirely absent here. The physical crash integrity is solid for the segment, but if you are expecting a high-tech digital safety shield to actively prevent accidents before they happen, you are expecting too much from this price bracket. That jaw-dropping base price on the billboard, you probably cannot even buy that car. Dacia is famous for advertising a starting price that seems almost too good to be true in the modern automotive landscape, and frankly, it is. The absolute entry-level trim is essentially a ghost car. Dealerships rarely stock it, and if you insist on ordering it, you will be waiting months for delivery. Why? Because it is stripped bare to an uncomfortable degree. We are talking steel wheels, no air conditioning, and in some markets not even a traditional radio, just a plastic slot to mount your smartphone. By the time the salesman guides you to a model with the basic creature comforts you actually need for daily driving, like the Expression or Journey trims, that headline-grabbing budget price has vanished. Suddenly, the Sandero creeps dangerously close to the price territory of a slightly used Volkswagen Polo or Ford Fiesta, completely changing the value proposition. Dreaming of a quiet, peaceful commute? You might want to turn the radio up. During a quick 10-minute test drive around smooth, low-speed city streets, the Sandero feels perfectly refined, but take it on the highway, and the harsh reality of budget manufacturing sets in. Sound, deadening materials are heavy and expensive, which means Dacia uses them very sparingly. At highway speeds, wind noise around the A-pillars and tire roar echoing from the uninsulated wheel arches become highly intrusive. If you regularly commute long distances at high speeds, the NVH, that is noise, vibration, and harshness, will cause driver fatigue much faster than in a premium hatchback. The salesman will intentionally keep your test drive strictly to urban roads to mask this exact acoustic deficiency. Expecting seamless smartphone integration and lightning-fast screens? Well, prepare for a blast from the past. The 2026 Sandero does offer an infotainment touchscreen on mid to high trims, but honestly, it's far from the cutting-edge tablet experience you find in modern competitors. The processor running the screen is built to a strict budget, and, yeah, this means you'll experience noticeable lag when swiping between menus, zooming in on the navigation, or even just booting up the system when you start the car. While it does support Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, the native interface feels a generation behind. Furthermore, the backup camera resolution is grainy, especially in low-light conditions. The salesman will happily show you that your phone connects, but they won't let you play with the screen long enough to notice the frustratingly delayed response times. That fresh new car smell is great, but how will those interior plastics look in 3 years? To keep production costs down, the Sandero's interior is a vast sea of hard plastics. While Dacia has done a commendable job adding textured fabrics to the dashboard to break up the visual monotony, the high-touch areas are incredibly unforgiving. The plastics used on the lower door bins, the center console, and the glove box are highly susceptible to scratching. If you have kids, transport pets, or just regularly load cargo in and out of the cabin, those surfaces will show permanent scuffs and white wear marks incredibly quickly. It is a durable interior in the sense that the panels will not easily snap or break, but it will lose its showroom-fresh appearance much faster than the soft-touch materials utilized by slightly more expensive rivals. Buying cheap means losing less money later, right? The math is not that simple. The depreciation curve of a Dacia Sandero is a fascinating financial trap. The salesman will confidently tell you that because the car is so cheap to buy, you will not lose much money in absolute terms when it's time to sell. However, the used car market for bare-bones models is incredibly small. Second-hand buyers want air conditioning, power windows, and touchscreens just as much as new buyers do. If you buy the base model to save money today, you will struggle to find a buyer tomorrow. Conversely, if you load up a top-spec Sandero with all the optional extras, it depreciates like a stone, because used buyers in that higher price bracket will simply opt for a premium brand instead. Finding the exact middle ground trim is the only way to protect your investment, a secret the dealership will never volunteer because they want to upsell you. Planning a cross-country road trip with a fully loaded car? You might need to pack some patience. The engines offered in the 2026 Sandero, primarily the 1-liter 3-cylinder units, are fantastic for city driving and maximizing fuel economy. They are peppy off the line, and perfectly adequate for a solo driver commuting to work. But the salesman will not tell you what happens when you put 4 adults in the car, fill the trunk with heavy luggage, and hit an incline. Under a heavy load, the small displacement engine struggles significantly. Overtaking on a 2-lane highway becomes a calculated risk, requiring you to drop down 2 gears and rev the engine to its noisy, vibrating limits. Furthermore, your impressive fuel economy plummets when the tiny engine is constantly forced to work at maximum capacity. It is a city car at heart, and pushing it beyond those boundaries reveals its stark mechanical limitations. So, is the 2026 Dacia Sandero still worth your hard-earned cash? Absolutely, but only if you buy it with your eyes wide open. It remains one of the absolute best value propositions on the road today, offering honest, reliable, and practical transportation. But by knowing these 7 hidden truths, you can negotiate better, choose the exact right trim for your needs, and completely avoid buyer's remorse. Thank you for tuning in to Supercar. If this video saved you from making a costly mistake, sure trying deno, sure gen trying. Thumbs. Leave a comment below about your own Dacia experiences, and do not forget to subscribe for more unfiltered automotive truths. See you in the next video.